children are typically limited to how their parent raises them, but some single parents are a lot better than two parents.
What's up guys, welcome back to my channel. This is David and I am on David Junction. As you guys know, this is the #1 online TV show, so if you haven't joined, what are you waiting for? Turn on the notification bell to be the first to view all our videos. Today I decided to do a very interesting video on a few controversial issues going on in our society. See you in the video. Violence inherent to humans.
So I don't think humans are inherently violent. I do think humans are inherently bad though. I think we have a lot of sin nature. I'm a Christian, and so I believe humans are born honestly with a nature to do wrong, and we have to work against that. We naturally want to lie when we're in trouble. We naturally want to do things that benefit us, and I think that's a selfish nature. And so I think humans are not necessarily born violent, because I have a lot of bad tendencies. I want to be selfish, I want things to go my way, but I don't think I'm violent. I don't think humans are naturally violent. Yeah, if that makes any sense.
Great answer.
I think that's a tough question.
Inherent to humans.
I think what's inherent is our ability to learn our own traits, and that's developed over time. Whether or not that's born with someone, I don't know. I think that some people are just developed that way, they develop over time and start to grow those traits. And I think that some people have more motivation in their lives than others and stuff like that.
Is violence inherent to humans?
I think that people are born naturally to not be violent people, but it kind of depends on where you grow up. I feel kind of your environment, nature versus nurture type of thing, whether or not you grow up with the values of being able to handle stuff peacefully.
I don't think so. I think that violence is taught, and it depends on where, what type of environment you grew up in, and what you saw when growing up, and the people you surround yourself with all the time.
I don't think so. I think everyone, it runs in the family, of course, how you're raised, but I think everybody has equal opportunities, not necessarily with their environments, but when they're born, they kind of can develop themselves, but it is dependent on their environment too, in which they come up in.
Cool. So you think that those kids who grow up with one parent grow up to be inferior to those with two parents?
Not at all. I think that it's dependent on the parent. Children are typically limited to how their parent raises them, but some single parents are a lot better than two parents.
I don't think so. I think that violence is taught, and it depends on where, what type of environment you grew up in, and what you saw when growing up, and the people you surround yourself with all the time.
Are some people born to be bad and others good?
No.
So it's not inherent?
Yeah.
I don't want to believe that. I think it's more of a way people were raised. If they're raised with abusive parents, most likely they're abusive. If they're raised with super nice parents, odds are they're not going to be abusive.
But sometimes you feel you see some kids, even though they have good parents, they just want to fight and all that. Do you think that is not inherent?
Well, a lot of it, at least from my point of view of things I've seen, is they hang out with the wrong crowd, and the wrong crowd, it happens to be violent. They try to follow their order or follow that trend, and then it just kind of eventually worsens them, and they become that person who turns to be violent.
Can divorce harm children?
Can divorce harm children? Yeah, it can.
Yes, it can. It can make a mental toll on you pretty drastically. I know a kid who actually had divorced parents, and it took him out, and he went through a pretty hard time of depression, and he had to get pulled out of it, and it was a rough time for him.
Do you think that those kids who are raised with one parent or with no parents are inferior to those with both parents?
No.
No, I don't think that's true.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. My mom's actually a counseling major, and we were talking about divorce the other day. My parents are married, but she was telling me about how divorce, like you look at girls who end up in abusive relationships, it's probably because they had familial issues at home. They either had a bad relationship with their dad, which can come from divorce. But if you look at the statistics of teen pregnancies and all that stuff, it comes from bad relationships with their parents and a family divorce, which one causes the other. So sometimes relationships can be strained because of divorce, and that causes a lot of issues as girls grow up, and it can even cause issues in guys. But if you look at the statistics, divorce does cause a lot of issues.
So do you think that children who grow up with both parents grow better than those without parents or with one parent?
So I think it depends on the situation. I'm not going to bash single parents. I have a lot of respect for women who leave abusive men, and honestly vice versa. And so I'm not going to say that somebody with one mom is going to have a worse life than I have with two parents.
I mean,
but
that's
if there are two healthy parents in the home, I honestly think that can create a more stable environment than one, because two is better than one. But I do think, on the other hand, that like if it was an abusive relationship and the mom or dad left an unhealthy partner, that would be traumatizing towards the kid. Then I think that it's great, and they should have done that, and that was really a smart and wise decision, and applaud to them.
I think it can, depending on how it's handled. I think, if two people aren't in love anymore, then they shouldn't stay together just for the sake of it. But I think it just depends on how it's handled and how it's related to the kids in that sense.
Do you think that children who grow up with both parents are grow up way much better than those without parents?
I think single parents can do just as good a job as any parents that are in a relationship, a stable relationship. It's better to grow up with one solid parent than to go throughout life with parents that argue in front of you all the time and stuff like that, in my opinion.
Yes, I think divorce is, I don't know, I feel like in most cases it's pretty detrimental to like family dynamics and how like children interact with their parents and each other. I wouldn't say they grow up to be better, no. I think being successful depends on, your own like personal definition and motivation and what you find as being good, so I wouldn't say that there's like a better or worse option.
So just based on like what I've seen, I think so, like emotionally, yeah, I would say so.
No, come close.
Okay.
And do you think that the kids who are born with one parent or no parents are inferior to those born to those who have two parents?
No, I don't think they're inferior. I think that they have a different experience, but I wouldn't say that that makes them inferior.
Do you support the LGBTQ community?
No, to be honest, no. I do feel they have rights, like they have like human rights.
They
obviously.
can do whatever they want.
Yeah, but
It's not
like if you ask me to like come out, I'm like no.
So you don't think it's right?
Because it goes against my religion in several ways.
Yeah.
So like the whole I think about this a lot. So like the whole transgender thing.
Yeah.
So you're saying like you're a woman born into a man's body.
Mm-hmm.
So you're practically saying like my God is wrong for creating you the way it is. Yeah. So it's like it's kind of complicated, but like to answer your question, no.
I support it due to my majority of my cousins actually being gay or transgender, so I kind of grew up around that.
Yeah.
So I just kind of end up learning to just respect it, and whatever they want to be, that's what they want to be.
Are you pro-choice or pro-life?
Pro-choice.
Pro-choice.
So you support abortion?
Yeah.
I don't necessarily support it, but I'm not going to basically force a kid on a girl that doesn't want a child. So.
Do you think that men and women are equal?
Probably say no.
And how's today's standard working? Probably not. Should it be? Yes, but
Do you
it's
think
just.
they should be equal?
I believe so, but that's just not how it seems to be working in a lot of today's jobs, it seems like. So it's kind of, that's why there's so many protests about it lately.
Yeah. So talking about the abortion and stuff, do you think that men have a say or should have a say in the abortion part? Because once the lady has a child, then the man has to pay for child support, whether he wants it or not. There is no equality in that, but most ladies tend to say that there is equality. So, what is your opinion about that? Do you think that men should have a say in that part of abortion?
Yeah, I mean, it took two to make, so should take two to decide. Except the lady wants to be a single parent, or the dude wants to be a single parent. Then
I believe it takes a big effect on it.
Yeah.
I think it should matter, but for the majority of the time, it is the woman who's going to end up having the baby. But a guy should have somewhat of a say on it. I grew up with a family with, like, if it's your fault for getting the girl pregnant at first fault, you got to take responsibility for that. So if that's my fault to do begin with, I'll have to take responsibility for it. I'll have to pay end up probably paying child care for that, but that was my fault to get into to begin with. So that's why I just wrap it up.
Cool. So, just deal with your consequences. That's what you mean, like deal with your consequences.
If you're the reason you're on that problem to begin with, then it's your fault. If you didn't want a child at the age of, let's say 16, I'm not 16, but like say 16, if you don't want a child at that age, just don't do it raw. Just don't get the girl pregnant to begin with, and you won't have that problem. But
So that shows me that men and women can never be equal in all aspects. Is that right? Even if they are striving to be equal, they can never be equal. Is that a good conclusion?
yeah, I'm just being blunt here, but yeah,
Alright.
I'm being blunt.
it depends. Like guys, let's say working out naturally gonna be bigger. Sports jobs are naturally gonna be bigger with guys. It's just how it is. But the workforce, I believe that could be equal on both sides. It's just how it works.
Do you support the LGBTQ community?
What do you mean by support? So I'm a Christian, so I honestly do believe in my religion that being gay is wrong. Do I have friends who are gay? Yes. Am I going to think of them any differently? No. Just because that is not what I believe does not mean that I don't love them, that I do not support them, that I do not want rights for them. Do I think that they should be hated on? Do I think that they should have? No, absolutely not. But do I believe in my religion that is right? No. Will that cause me any indifference towards or cause me any what's that called, bias towards them? Absolutely not. It's a lifestyle choice that they've chosen, and absolutely go for it.
But you don't think that it's right?
No, I do not.
Are you pro-choice or pro-life?
I am pro-life.
Yes, sir.
And are you pro-choice or pro-life?
I'm pro-choice.
Do you support the LGBTQ community?
Yes, I'm gay, so I
really?
fall into that community.
And are you pro-choice or pro-life?
I would rather not have a say in that matter. I feel like that's kind of your own personal belief, and I don't like to pick a side on that one just because I have never been in that position. I'm not going to have to ever be in that position, whether or not I choose to carry a child, so I just don't think I should have a say in that.
I do. I think that be whoever you want to be. Don't pay attention to who people want you to be. Do whatever you want. Make yourself happy.
That's cool. Are you pro-choice or pro-life?
I don't really have a stance on that.
Okay.
I think to each their own.
Say that.
Yeah, to each their own. I'm not a woman, so I don't think I should choose what goes on with the woman's body. But, for those women who are in power, whatever they, decide, whatever, I think it should be based on the people's opinion.
Do you think men and women are equal?
I do. I think that there's some women that are very powerful in the world, and they can outpower some men in the world, and vice versa.
In terms of abortion.
Yeah, I think most women should have a lot more of a say than men because it can go both ways. But at the end of the day, it's not my body. It's not for me to choose what someone else does. So.
Yes, I do.
Are you pro-choice or pro-life?
I am pro-choice.
So you would abort a baby?
I think that the option for people to abort babies should be available. I don't know if I personally would. I don't know.
So that means you're pro-life?
No, I don't think it does.
Okay. And do you think men and women are equal?
No.
In terms of the abortion stuff, most women have a say in that. And do you think men or women have an advantage in those types of situations?
In what
Like
situation?
when you say they're not equal, who do you think has the advantage?
Oh, I think men do. I think it should be equal, but I think that right now men still have the advantage in a lot of ways.
But women want to be equal to men, right?
Yeah, and they should be. Yeah.
In all aspects.
Yeah.
Then who should have a say in the abortion part, men or women? Or should they both have a say in that?
I would say women should, because we're the ones having the babies.
I mean, once you have the baby, then the guy has all the responsibility, most of the responsibility. I would say
Most of it? I don't know.
some of the responsibilities.
I don't know.
So do you think? I don't think there is.
Yeah, but it's our bodies. I think if it's our bodies and we're the ones giving birth, I think we should have more say.
And do you think most men agree with that?
Probably not, but I don't know.